Hello, what's up everybody? Today I'm going to be showing you guys Oriented Design, which is Objects Part 2, and we're going to do this, we're going to rewatch this video because um, you guys watched the video last time, but I didn't because I just got to play through it to you guys so you know what you would be needing to know for today, and yeah, let's. I'm gonna rewatch it again. So um, if you want to, you can just go on to the challenge if you were here last video. Um, and um, and yeah, the reason why I have music in the background is just it's just something else that kind of keeps me a little motivated. And I did. You guys can actually see the projects that other people do. So let's go back to Project Bookshelf. This isn't mine. There should be a book right here, but it's in spin-offs. That's my spin-off. It says Gaming with Anthony, Tips and Tricks. It's just a little thing. And then there's these ones. This one's a remake of an iPhone screen. This is Google Play screen. The one that got through to me was this person, Grey Wolf. Grey Wolf. Um, I love the animations that she does, like the projects. I don't know if it's he or she, but they do Baby Groot, Baby Yoda, a game, BB-8, Crazy Dog, Trick or Treat, and they do a lot other stuff. They even have like a subscribe page. So if you click on the Baby Yoda interactive, you can just see there's Baby Yoda interactive. It's a loading, and um, somewhere it says that somewhere it shows something about. So once we notify whenever I create new programs up here, and then it shows a link which we have to copy and paste. So copy it and then paste it into Google, and then that is the website that the person created. There's an about page, a subscribe, the programs. But first, whenever I thought of the subscribe button, I thought of I didn't know that it wasn't going to be a YouTube subscribe. So yeah, how to subscribe, go into tips and thanks just below this program and find the thread titled subscribe here. So we go into tips and thanks, subscribe thread, original, and important for all new subscribers. Please use the other subscription thread titled subscribe here. Thank you to subscribe. Just put a period in the thread, which, let's see, it says it's a car crash, and then the baby Yoda, which, oh no, not Baby Yoda, Baby Groot. Let's go to the Baby Groot one. The Baby Groot looks pretty cool. The cursor can follow where he sees, because you can just do this. It's cute. Let's not do this, so let's just go back to the to what like what we were doing. So oh yeah, they were the winner of the March and April 2020 coding contest. I don't know if they hold one every month. Maybe they might have did that. But let's just go to Oriented Design. Let's watch this video, do another challenge, video challenge, and then the last video, the last challenge, and then a review, and then I'm not sure how much time I'll have, but we'll probably go into the becoming a better programmer, but I might do that as a separate video, not video, live stream, or a video. For all of you guys that are here, like, that, not like in the live stream, but in the replay, I, um, I thank you for clicking on this video, and I'm just going to get to it right now. So I'm going to mute my mic, and here's the object types.
Now that you understand the basics of JavaScript, I want to teach you about a cool way of using JavaScript, something we call object-oriented programming. But first, we need to understand why it's actually useful. So I put together a program that will be better once we make it more object-oriented. Now, it's a pretty cool program to start with. At the top, I have two variables that store simple object literals inside. Now, the object literal is the kind of object we learned about before, that we create with two curly braces, and then we put all these property names and values inside. So we have two of those object literal variables, and then down here we have this function drawWinston, which expects a single argument, and then it draws an image based on the x and y properties of the object, and then a caption based on the nickname and age properties of that object. And now finally at the bottom we call drawWinston on the teen and on the adult, and that's what makes it show up. Pretty cool. Now if we go up here and we look at these object literals, notice something about them is that they're really similar looking. Both of them have the same sets of properties, and both of them can be used by the same drawWinston function. In fact, if you think about this, they're really both describing a type of Winston, right? And we can think like maybe there's this kind of abstract type of Winston in the world, and every Winston has the same set of properties like a nickname and an age and an X and a Y. And here, what we've done is we've just created two instances of a Winston to describe, a particular Winston. So this is a teenage Winston and this is an adult Winston. But they're really both quite similar, and there's a lot of things that are similar about them. And if you think about it, that's a lot the way the world works too, is that we have kind of these abstract data types like humans and people, and then we're all just specific instances of those with our own little properties. Now, we can actually use object-oriented techniques in JavaScript so that these Winston variables are formal instances of a Winston object, so that they know that they share these things in common. So to do that, the first thing we need to do is actually describe this abstract data type Winston. And so we'll do that by making a variable, because we'll store the data type in a variable. So var Winston, and we'll do capital W, because we always start our object types with a capital. And we'll set it equal to a function. And this function is a special function that we call a constructor function, because this is what's going to get called every time we want to create a new Winston instance. So we want to create a teenage Winston, we'll call this function, or an adult Winston, we'll call this function. So that means that this function should take whatever arguments it needs to know about in order to, make a full Winston. So in this case, it needs to know a nickname, an age, an X, and a Y. Now, once we receive those arguments, we need to do something with them. So we need to actually attach that information to the Winston object. So we'll use a new special keyword called this. And this will refer to the current object instance. So we'll say this.nickname. So it'll say, all right, the nickname property of this object is equal to whatever gets passed into the constructor function, okay? And this.age is equal to the age that gets passed in, this.x.
Okay, I'll be back in a minute. Okay, I'm back. Let's keep on watching. Yeah.
Is equal to the x that gets passed in, and this dot y equals the y that gets passed in. All right, so now we have this abstract data type called Winston, and it has a constructor function that we can use to create a new Winston. So let's try to use it. We're going to create Winston teen again, but this time we're going to say Winston teen equals, and instead of curly braces, we're going to say equals new Winston. So we're saying we're trying to create a new Winston instance. And then we're going to pass in the information that it needs. So Winston 15, 20, 50. Okay? And then we can delete this old one because we don't need it anymore. All right, and now that's created a new Winston. And now we can say Winston adult equals new Winston. And of course his name is Mr. Winstalot. Sweet name. And he's 30, and he's at 229 and 50. All right, and then we can delete this object literal. And ta-da! Our code still works. So what we've done here is that we've said, okay, there's kind of this abstract type of data, which is this Winston, and we can create new Winston instances that have these properties that are unique to them, and we'll just remember those properties inside them. And remembering is really important. So, in here we have this dot nickname, this dot age. If we accidentally, didn't have this dot age, notice that now it says undefined. That's because down here, this draw Winston function, it expects whatever object you gets passed in, it expects it to have an age property. And if we didn't say this dot age, then it doesn't have an age property, okay? We passed it into the constructor function, but then we didn't do anything with it. We have to actually attach it to the object using this keyword. So we'll add this back. Now you might be thinking like, okay, sure, you got your code working and you're doing this fancy thing, but all we've done is accomplished what we had before. But here's a cool thing. Now all of our Winstons go through the same constructor function. So if we want to, we can actually change things, change some things about the Winston, all the Winstons just inside here. So maybe age, we actually want to say years old. We can just put that here. And now all of our Winstons say 15 years old, 30 years old, right? So they're taking the part that's unique about them, but then they also have things that are shared about them. And that's a really cool thing about object-oriented programming, is this idea that there's these kinds of objects in the world, and you can actually create instances of these objects, and there's some things that are similar about them, like they all have the same properties, but then there are things that are different, like, oh, this property is actually a different value than this other property, right? But then, we can kind of, do the same behavior with them, like call the same functions, and use them in similar ways. So that's some of the cool stuff about object-oriented programming, but as you're going to see, there's tons more too. So stay tuned.
Okay, so here's this challenge for you. If you're planning to do this by yourself, then let me just tell you just look at the hint and read the instructions. If you want to do it with me, then that's okay. I will pause this music and we will do it. So, this program describes a rainbow as an object literal and draws it on the canvas. To make it easy for you to make lots of rainbow objects, create a rainbow constructor function. It should have 3 parameters for the x, y, and radius, and store them in the x, y, and radius properties. So it's going to be var, rainbow function, then whatever after that, and then this dot something, this dot something, this dot something. Okay, let's see. I think they're just making us like get rid of a little bit of code and make it smaller, but I'm not sure. So it says var.rainbow var draw rainbow equals function rainbow. So we need a like make a var rainbow equals equals function, and then three things, and then brackets, this dot something, this dot something, that something. So okay. Okay, so let's see. So var rainbow equals function. Let's look over here.
Hey baby, we're back.
Okay. So Winston function. So nickname, age, x and y. So for this one, we're doing what is that? So x, y, radius. So we're doing this dot x equals something, that this dot y equals something, and this dot radius and equals. So now I need to go back at the top and look for, okay, we could do that. So let's just say that.
Tons more too.
So, oh, and the YouTube video we can't like scroll up and down and stuff, but so now, so x, y, y, so this dot something equals that, and then, so I think of equal x, so let's go back to that. So this dot x equals x, that, y, radius. So way to go. Initialize a new rainbow. Now that you define the constructor function, use it to make a new rainbow object, passing the numbers for x, y, and radius as arguments. After that, use the draw rainbow function to display your new rainbow. You can only call a function after its detention. So we're doing a var equals new rainbow, and then the xy radius, and then draw rainbow that. So let's do this. So var var y, let's just say y equals new rainbow, and then x comma y comma radius. X is not defined, and then y is not defined, radius is not defined. So I think we need to change the numbers up a little bit. So what the and then we do draw rainbow y. Let's see, so new x could be 10, y could be 10, radius could be 10. What's that? Now you have a new way, new fancy way of making rainbows. You no longer need the object label big rainbow, and you can delete. You also need to delete the command that draws big rainbow. So we need so
I'll watch your video. I've watched a lot of those.
oh, so we created a new rainbow. That's good.
A lot of people will.
So now we can let's just copy this. I mean, cut this just in case.
But instead it makes
Okay.
This, I just didn't know.
that's fine.
It wasn't gives it like a water effect. Airplane.
Draw rainbow is not defined.
Airplane share. Rat,
No.
rat.
So I think they want us to just get rid of that. But wait, we needed that. Wait.
Rat.
So double rainbow. Now it's easy to make new rainbows. Another one. I'll now make another rainbow with different properties. So let's see. Let's do, after the draw rainbow Y, we can do the var. We can do var there new rainbow and x comma y comma radius. So I think x is not defined, y is not defined. Okay, so these need to make 20, so 200, 210 semicolon where I am missing semicolon. It's a tiny rainbow though. So 2 rainbows, we did it, we did it. Yep, now we're gonna go on to the next video. Now watch it with me and then do the challenge, and then watch it, and then watch the other one with me and then do the challenge. But if you want to watch these videos by yourself, then click on the link in the description of this video and do it. I'm gonna mute my mic. Okay, by the way, all this Khan Academy stuff, I haven't, like, if it wasn't for my teacher, Mr. H, then I wouldn't find this in Khan Academy. And yeah, thanks, H. Which, yeah. Okay, let's watch the video, do that stuff, and yeah.
In the last talk through, we learned how to make an object type to represent our two Winston-like objects, and then initialize them with the constructors. Now, an object type doesn't just have to be associated with properties. It can also be associated with functionality. Think about the world and all the object types in it. Like us humans, we all have height and age, but we also have things we can do like sleep and eat and program. And we want to be able to associate those functions with those object types. In this program, which is just where we left off from last time, we have a function here, draw Winston, that we call on both Winston objects. Wouldn't it be neat if we could just attach that to the Winston object type? Well, we can, and it's easy to do. So underneath our constructor, we're going to write Winston, capital W, dot prototype. And the prototype, that's a new word that you probably haven't seen before. And the prototype is this property of an object that we can attach functions to, and it will mean that every object that's an instance of that will then have those functions on them. So we can say dot prototype and then dot, and then the function name. So we say draw equals, and then we can go and take our draw Winston code and we can just move it inside here. All right, so now what we've done here is we've attached a draw function to our Winston prototype. And that means that we should be able to call draw on any Winston type object. All right, so we should be able to call draw on Winston teen or Winston adult. And when we have a function like this that we can call on an object, we actually call that a method. So you might hear me say method now. So we'll say this is the draw method. Okay, so now we'll delete this and we delete this, and now we're going to see, can we call draw? WinstonTeen.draw. Okay, we have an error. We've had this error sticking out here. So it says Winst object is not defined. Okay, so before we were passing this argument into draw Winston, which was the Winston object, but now we're not passing it anymore. So we could change this to pass it, and then let's see, what would we pass here? We'd have to pass Winston teen. Okay, that worked, but that seems also really silly. I'm already calling draw on the object itself. I shouldn't have to pass in the object as well. That seems redundant. And that's true, we shouldn't have to do that. So let's delete this here. And now let's think, if we're inside the object, what could we use to access the properties of the object? Well, you might look up at our constructor and remember that special keyword this and think, ah, what if we just change this to this? So we change Winst object to this. Because we're inside the object right now. This function is being evaluated on the object, so that this will refer to that current object. And so that way we can just say this, and we'll get access to all the properties of this current object. And that totally worked, see? Isn't that cool? So now we can then say Winston adult.draw. Ta-da! And it will access the properties of Winston adult because that's the object it's being called on. So that's what's really cool about this keyword, even though it can be kind of confusing to say sometimes. All right, so that was a lot of fun. So let's add another method. Okay, so what else might Winston do? Maybe he'll talk. So we'll make a Winston.prototype.talk. So we can attach as many methods as we want to the prototype. So we'll say, I'm Winston. And then we'll just say this dot x plus 20 and this dot y plus 150. And then nothing happened, but of course that's because I didn't actually call that function yet. So let's make the teen talk, Winston teen.talk. Teens like to talk all the time. Okay, I'm Winston, ta-da, and then Winston adult.talk. Ta-da! All right, so now we have this Winston object type that has properties, nickname, age, x, y, and it has functionality, behaviors, methods, that act differently depending on the properties. And we can create as many instances of Winstons as we want and call any of these methods on it. It's pretty cool, huh?
Yes, it is pretty cool. And yeah, let's go on to the challenge. So we do a prototype. So there's 5 steps to this one, which I think it's going to be pretty long. So create a smiley face object. Before you do this by yourself, if you're going to do it by yourself, then look at the hidden code and yeah, then read the directions, or else you won't know what to do. So you can pause this video and go over there and do it. I'm just going to do it right now with you guys. So challenge smiley face. Create a smiley face object. We have a lovely function for drawing smiley faces. based on object literals that we pass to it. However, we like to use object-oriented design instead, so we can create instances and add methods. Start off by creating a smiley face constructor that stores center X and center Y properties. So the hint code is what you need to put or edit to. So, okay. Okay, so var smiley face equals function, that stuff, so, and then at this dot something, and then this dot that, so, so whatever is, so all the colored boxes means that if there's a blue box and there's another blue box, you have to have both of those blue boxes be the same thing. So the orange and the pink, those boxes have to be the same exact like name or number or whatever. So which you can refer to the old video, like I did in the last challenge. Like I just skipped to the end of it and then I checked to see what the person did, and now yeah, so let's put this at the end. So var smiley, smiley face equals function, and then that to let's look back. So this is what they caught up to at the end. So they used the Winston function. I think it's this x, this y. It's probably what they're trying to make us do. So function x, y. Well, not that. So this dot x, not tis. This dot wait, unmatched. Let's just hold it there. Looks like you're missing a semicolon there. You have an unnecessary semicolon. So unmatched, let's see. So x and y, and then this dot, and then something else, and then this dot, something else. This dot x tis, this dot x equals something, and then this dot y equals something. what is this? So your property names in the object constructor should match the property names that are already being used, center X and center Y. So remember, the property names are the names that appear after the dot. So like this dot property name. So center X, center Y. Center X, center Y. Okay, so initialize the new smiley face. So var some new variable, which is the high, and then new smiley face. Then we need the x comma y. Well, I don't know if that's correct, but draw smiley high. So x and y, center x, center y. X is not defined, y is not defined. So 20, comma 20. Oh wait, this is not. You should. Okay, I'm gonna just make this. So, oh yeah, there should be no stroke on that one. But so it says, now that you have this nice way of making smiley face objects, you should delete the old code that drew the original face using the face object variable. Include both the code that creates the object and the code that draws the actual face using face object. So I'm not sure what they want us to keep or not keep. Let's just cut. Okay, that's what it was. Okay. Face objects. Face object is not defined. Wait, that face object is not defined? You know what? So it looks like I need to get rid of this code. So cut that out, and then shows face object is not defined. So I think the face object, this dot object cannot read property center X of undefined. I don't know. I mean, there's 5 steps. How, like, no, I don't know. The original face drawing code. So I'm not sure if they want us to do this and then cut everything. Draw Smiley is not defined. Make sure you declare it. And then face object is not defined. Draw Smiley is not defined. This dot object. So both of them draw Smiley is not defined. Draw this dot, not comma, dot this dot Smiley. If you guys already done this, then just tell me guys if you have done this. And if you can, like if you tried this yourselves and you reference back to this video and the other videos that I've done, say that you've did the lesson, like the lesson in this video, in the comments below this video, which is Objects in Khan Academy Part 2. Yeah. So that's a challenge for another time. So let's just paste everything back. So center axis. So okay, object inheritance. So let's see this video. After we watch this, then you can do the challenge. You can do the review, and then we'll do the becoming a better programmer in the next live stream, which will probably still be today. But we have like 10 minutes left before an hour passes by, so let's do this challenge.
We're back with our program that creates Winstons, but I've added a new object type, Hopper, because Hopper was feeling a little left out. Now I define Hopper the same way that I define Winston, starting off with the constructor function and takes in the same properties, and then draw, and then talk. And then I also added another method called hooray, because Hoppers really like to celebrate, and Winstons don't really at all. Now at the bottom of the function, I've created two new Hopper objects, Little Hopper and Big Hopper, and drawn them and called talk on one and then hooray on the other. So that's pretty neat. Now if we look at this code up here, you might notice something interesting, is that the code for Hopper is very similar to the code from Winston. In particular, look at this constructor. I don't know if you remember, but that is exactly the same code as our Winston constructor function. And then this talk function is also exactly the same code as our Winston talk function. And they also both have draw functions. So there's a lot of things in common about these two object types. And that makes sense because, Hopper and Winston, they're two very similar object types in our world. And if you think about, the real world, like outside the computer, most object types share similarity with other object types. Like in the animal kingdom, all animals are similar in some ways. And then, we have different types of animals like humans. And humans share those similarities, but also have their own unique similarities. So we could say that animal is an object type that human object types inherit functionality from. So we don't completely start from scratch. We add on top of the functionality that we get from being an animal. Like all animals make noises, but humans also make language. So this concept of object inheritance is really useful in programming too. And we can create a chain of object inheritance in our JavaScript. So to do this, we need to think about what's shared about our object types and come up with a name for that, because we're going to create a new object type that represents the base object. So let's call them creatures. They're both creatures. So we say var creature equals, and now we need our constructor function. So let's go and just steal hoppers, since that's the same thing as Winston has. All right, and then let's see. Now we want to, what do we want to do next? Maybe we want to add the top function on it, right? So top function, we could just steal hoppers, but of course we need to have it on the creature prototype instead. Okay, cool. So now, now we have this creature object type, but we need to actually tell Hopper that Hopper should actually base its functionality off of creature. So we can do that by writing this line here. We'll say Hopper.prototype equals object.create creature.prototype. So what this line does is tells JavaScript to base Hopper's prototype, so to base all of Hopper's functionality off of the creature prototype. And then that means that every time it looks for a function on a Hopper, it'll look at Hopper's prototype first, but then if it doesn't find that, it'll actually look and see if it was on the creature prototype. And this is what we call the prototype chain. Now, once we've done this, we should actually be able to delete the talk function on Hopper because it already exists on creature, which is up the prototype chain. So let's try it. Ready? Dun, dun, dun. It worked. And it works because it finds it on creature prototype instead. So let's try deleting it on Winston too. Okay, it didn't work. It says object has no method talk. And why is that? Well, we have our Winston constructor and draw, and we took away the talk. Well, you notice we forgot to actually tell Winston's prototype to be based off the creature prototype. So we need that very important line, Winston.prototype equals object.create creature.prototype. Ta-da! And notice something important. I have this line after the constructor function, but before I add anything else to the Winston prototype. So that's usually what you want to do, is you want to tell it, just as you're starting off immediately, all right, this is what your initial prototype will be based on, but then we can keep adding more stuff to its prototype. Because there could be some things that are unique to Winston's and are unique to Hopper's that aren't on creatures, and that's totally cool that you can define those. All right, now if we look at this, we still have some repeated code, the constructor code, right? We have this all 3 times. So could we just delete it? Let's try it. Okay, doesn't seem like that worked because our Hopper shows up in the upper left corner. It kind of forgot everything about itself. And this is because JavaScript does not assume that you want the same constructor even if you want to base the prototype off of it. It lets you define your own constructor for these objects, but it also doesn't give you an easy way to call a constructor from a sub-object. So the way we can do this is we'll write creature.call this, comma nickname, comma age, comma x, comma y. Okay. Now what this does, notice it worked, yay. And what it did was it actually is calling the creature function, the constructor function. It's calling that function, but it's passing in and saying, okay, you should call this constructor function as if it was being called from this Hopper object, and as if it's being called with these arguments. And these are the arguments that the Hopper got called with. And that'll end up just executing this code as if it was right here. And that's exactly what we want. And it worked. And we can go ahead and copy this line into the Winston constructor too. And it works. Yay. All right. So check this out. We've encapsulated all our shared properties and functionalities about objects in this single base object type, creature, and we've made two object types that extend from that base object. They inherit some functionality, but they add their own too. And the cool thing about this is that we can change the shared functionality in a single place. Like if we wanted to change age again, you can say plus years old. Cool, now everybody has years old at the end of it. Or we could change the top functions, be like, yo, sup, woo. All right, and now both Winston and Hoppers are saying sup. So now that you've seen how to create object types and inherit from object types, you can start thinking about how this might be useful in your drawings and animations and simulations and games. For example, maybe you have a game and you have many types of characters in it, and all of them can run, but only some of them can jump. That's a perfect place for some object types and some inheritance. But I bet you can think of tons of more ways as well.
Okay, so we watched that video. Now let's go to the challenge. Again, just read the instructions, even though if they're long, and also try and look back at the hint code before doing this. So this is 91 lines, which is weird because there's a lot. So add more flowers. This program creates 2 flowers, tulip, an instance of a tulip type, sunflower, an instance of a sunflower type. The draw scene function draws these flowers by calling their draw methods. The mouse click function makes these flowers change height. When you click the mouse by calling their grow by methods. So play around with the program, see how it works. When you're done playing around, add 1 more flower to the tulip, add 1 more flower to the sunflower. Modify the draw scene function so that it also draws your new flowers. Where you place the code to create a new object instance like new flower is important. New object instance should be created somewhere below its constructor, but above any code that uses one of its methods and or properties. So here's the tulip. There's a flower. It's 7 steps. How much steps is it gonna be? So hint, what's this? Create object instances. So where is that? So var tulip, new tulip, sunflower, new sunflower, var new tulip, var new sunflower, var draw scene, and then tulip dot draw that, sunflower dot draw that, something dot draw that, something dot draw that. Okay. So, let's see. We're just going to place this code at the end. I don't know why I'm going to do this, but let's see. So, there. Oh, wait. I just got notifications. Let's see. Okay. Let's do var tulip equals new tulip, and then there should be 3 values. There's wait a minute. Look right here. Create new object instances. That is what this is. So we have 2. We have 2 right here. Now we have to do var something new tulip, var something new sunflower. So that means we didn't need to do a new draw, like a new new this new tulip. We didn't need to do that. So that's the main program. I don't know why there's a bunch of stars and why it's blue, but let's see. So there, flow tulip, and new tulip, and then we have to do the dimensions of it. So let's look at that. I thought you were gonna do that, but you turned to the window. I didn't. Wait a minute. I didn't type that there with the background and stuff. No, I didn't do that. So tulip 38, comma 390, comma 150. So now it's good. Like now those errors are out. Let's get what's this crown? Like what? Why is there a crown on there? I don't know. Let's see. Okay. Huh. That's weird. Okay, so I'm gonna copy this little code right here. Copy, but I'm gonna do var flow flow sun, and then paste it. Great, you've added your flowers. Now modify the draw scene function to draw them. So tulip.draw. Oh, so now I need to. Okay. So let's see. Flow tulip dot draw. Okay, now we did that, so make it that. And sunflower, and then flow sun dot draw. Now change the positions. Yeah, so it says incredible, keep it up. Okay, so in the previous step you had 2 new flowers and drew them. Now you need to make your flowers grow. recall that the mouse clicked function makes flowers change height when you click the mouse by their grow by methods. Modify the mouse clicked function so that it also changes the height of your new flowers. Okay. Hold on a minute. Okay, I just need to keep my door closed because it keeps on opening up. So I had to put something in front of it to make it stop opening. Because I think the wind just wants it to open, but it's, you know, okay. So what they're saying with this, you just have to go to this mouse clicked function thing, and before the draw scene, we need to get the variables and then grow by 10 and 20. So I think we just need to flow to it, grow by that, copy, paste, flow tulip, and then flow sun dot grow by 20. I think it now, wait, so way to go. Now go on. So flower object type, let's look. Flower. Here's the flower object type. Or that's sunflower. That's the flower object type is right here. So we need to do var flower. Make a flower object. The tulip and the sunflower object types share a lot of common. Let the the constructors are the same, and the grow by methods are the same. They're also conceptually similar. Both are types of flowers. Now let's use inherent to make both these object types extend from a flower object type. Make a constructor for the flower object type, where you place the code for a new object type. Like flower is important. It should be placed somewhere above all the object types that want to inherit from it. So let's just create what they're trying to do, which that orange, let's go back a step. Well, I can't go back a step. Yeah, not like now. But yeah, so this dot something equals that. So this dot x equals x, this dot y equals y, this dot height equals height, and then x, y, height. You know what? I think I can just copy and paste this tulip height thing to the flower and just call tulip flower. Paste. But we're gonna do this as flower. So that's literally it. But we need to do so define the grow by method. So add a grow by method to the flower prototype so that all flowers will be able to inherit it. The code should be the same as the grow by methods on the tulip and sunflower prototypes. When your code makes changes to an object type's prototype, like adding the method grow by to the flowers prototype, it's good practice to place the code just below the object type's constructor. So now it should be flower dot prototype dot grow by equals function and then something. So they use their so that's the okay. So flower prototype grow by the function should be let's look at this. This dot height plus equals x. Brilliant. Moving forward. Okay. So inherit from flower. Okay. So this is 5 out of 7. Inherit from flower. Now let's actually put your flower object type to work. Change the tulip constructor so it calls by the flower constructor with its arguments and base the tulip prototype on the flower prototype so that it inherits the grow by method to avoid errors and prevent overwriting the methods of the tulip prototype. The tulip constructor should be placed above all the methods on the tulip prototype statement for tulip to inherit from the flowers prototype should be placed immediately after the tulip constructor. You may need to press restart for the environment to recognize your changes to the tulip object. Okay. So, let's see. So var tulip equals function, and then flower dot call this, comma. I think this might be for the tulip, and then there's another one for the flower. I think that's what they're trying to get us to. So x, y, height, and this. I think they're trying to get us to change the I think they're trying to get us to change something. Yep, change the tulip constructor. So this dot x equals x, this dot y equals y, this dot height equals height. So that's gonna be actually just cut that out of there, and then flower dot call this comma x comma y comma height. Now it's good. Great, your tulip constructor is now calling the flower constructor. Now base the tulip prototype off of the flower prototype. So now I go down here, it's tulip.prototype equals object.create flower prototype. You can delete the grow by method. What is this? Okay, so what should I do? So you can delete the grow by method that is specifically on the tulip prototype. Tulip.prototype.growby. So I think they're talking about this one. So let's see. Cut. Yep. Okay. So great job. And inherit from flower again. And then for, so it's the sunflower now that we're trying to change. That's what I knew we were going to do, so let's just do that. Okay, so var sunflower. Wait, I'm gonna. Okay. So trying to make us do the same thing. So flower dot call this comma x comma y comma height Sorry guys, I'm back. My mom wanted me to show, wanted me to see a thing that she's been working on. But let's get back to the thing. So, height. So now I should do sunflower dot prototype equals object dot create flower dot prototype. So now we can get rid of this. It's gonna cut because, like, just in case if the actual thing did there's a. Now I need to change. Well, not change anything. I need. Well, yeah. So you need to create a something like this. So, but it's the oh, that's a tulip. Okay, so here it is. So flower dot prototype dot grow by equals function. So that would be function x, I guess. And then that this dot height plus equals something times that. So maybe 20 times x. And then this one has that. What is this? Oops, you need to fix the previous step. Go back all the way to step 4. What? The group by method.
Trying to be nice. Trying to play with you.
Okay. I'm not sure what I'm getting through to, but I think I have to. Let's see. I think I have to just cut this out. And then on to step 7 out of 7. So. So I think this is the last challenge of the coding, like the intro to coding. So let's see. So change the flowers. So the great thing about it is that we can change things on flower by twice the inputted amount, which prototype equals object.create flower prototype. Where's the flower? Sunflower. Flower.prototype dot grow by equals function x. This height plus equals x. So it's actually I'm not sure what I need to do here, but I will figure it out a little later, because if you guys already did the challenge and you're still looking at my video right now and you're seeing me struggling and you guys already got it, then just type in the comments, and then we're gonna do the review. So I'm gonna scroll down and you guys can read it. Okay, so I went in and I put in the link in the chat to the Khan Academy thing. But if you're on replay, you could just go to the coding thing in the description and do that. Okay, so yeah. So we're done with the object-oriented design. The becoming a better programmer. Let's look at it real quick. So it's playing to a programming project, playing a pseudo code and what to learn next. I am going to be doing this in the next live stream. So I hope you guys have a good day, and I will see you guys later. Bye.